Good evening. Nothing gets past me Thursday night, of course. Lovely to have you with us. And a big dinky-do. Welcome, 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 I say, to our internet phone-in. Tremendous stuff. And we're live tonight on YouTube and Facebook. That's it tonight. These are the ones. Let everybody know, of course, Jamish, lovely to have you with us. And welcome to our lovely TikTokers. We're live on TikTok as well, of course. Just what we like. So there we go. Fantastic stuff. Now then, follow us as soon as you possibly can. Lots to talk about tonight and so little time to do it in. So get following as soon as you join us. Gianelli, Dinky-Doo, Scottie, Dinky-Doo, Gianelli. Lovely to have you with us and welcome. Who's this? You're live on Scottie's Phone In. Who's that?
Hello, Scott. It's Martin, buddy. How are you?
Why, you were quick tonight, Martin, I'll tell you.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, well done.
Scotty, that was shocking last night over Matey Boy.
Oh, yes, I was a bit shocked at Matey Boy. There's Cian.
I was watching it back last night, and Kareem was absolutely shocked.
Oh, I was shocked at Matey Boy. We'll see if he comes on and apologises tonight.
Yes, I hope so, because if he doesn't, he'll be permanently banned.
Oh, yes, it'll be a ban. There's no doubt about that.
Scotty, do you know any good quiz shows?
Quiz shows. Yes, a great quiz show is Pointless.
Deal or no deal.
Deal or no deal. Do you think we should do a quiz show on here?
Yes, we should.
Yes, we might look at that, but the only thing is I want questions that nobody can just look up in a search engine. Yes, I think that's very, very important.
So, do you remember Deal or No Deal?
I remember Deal or No Deal, yes, I remember that. Do you remember Bullseye?
Yes.
Do you remember The Golden Shot with Bob Monkhouse?
Yes.
Yes. These were very good as well. Wipeout, absolutely. What about Blankety Blank? Yes, they were. What about Take Your Pick?
Oh, yes. The corner.
Well, Michael Miles. I could go back to Michael Miles. What about Brucey and Get Your Cards Right, was it?
Bruce Forsyth, Play Your Cards Right.
Play Your Cards Right. That was the one. Play Your Cards Right. Fantastic. Yes. Dinky-Doo.
Dinky-Doo.
Have a great day. Lovely to hear from you.
Love you, Scotty.
Love you lots, and Dinky-Doo, la-la.
Dinky-Doo, la-la. Bye.
Bye-bye just now. There we are. That's our Martin. What a top man. Wonderful. Now, we're limiting all calls to 5 minutes tonight because we're a very, 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 very upset Wolfgang. So we'll see. We'll take him at his word and we'll see if he apologizes. That's what it's all about, I say. What's the chat saying? Kitty Dragonfly. Hello, love. Hello, Kitty, darling. How lovely to have you with us. Absolutely. Hello, Scotty, one and all. Happy Christmas. I'll open the box, Michael. Remember that. Fantastic. Right. Hello, you're live on Scotty's Phone In. Where have you gone? Oh, my goodness. It's ringing and ringing, but I can't seem to get you on. Hello. Can you hear us there? Dinky-Doo. Hello, you're live on Scotty's Phone In. Who's that?
Hello, Scotty. It's Kareem. Hello.
Kareem. Hello. Excellent stuff. We couldn't get you on there.
I know, I'm watching in the big screen.
All the TikTokers are going, Kareem.
Hello, everybody. Hi, TikTokers.
Excellent stuff. They love you on there, the TikTokers.
Thank you.
And tonight, Kareem, again, we're live on YouTube and on Facebook Live, and that's it.
Excellent. No, that's excellent, Scotty.
There you are. And there's somebody wanting a shout out to Stigo.
All right. Okay.
Fantastic. We can do that, can't we?
Yes, Scotty. Scotty, I wanted to say something that I was a bit shocked and appalled last night regarding is it Matey Boy's call?
Matey Boy, yes, Wolfgang.
Yeah, and I just felt it was a horrible way to end such a great show.
Oh, it was a fantastic show last night, and I don't know what he was doing. He was on really doing his nut about the fact that we'd only got a couple of minutes left and that Glenn had been on so long.
Well, see, at the end of the day, Scottie, if everybody phoned you and talked about the same thing, sounded the same, was indeed the exact same, there would be no show.
Exactly, Kareem. Good point.
You know, and what he might not like, that's not the case for other people. I actually felt that he was you're the host, I felt he was very disrespectful towards you. I do feel he was very, very disrespectful towards your listeners. And I've said this before, I think he has a real insecurity about himself, that he has to put others down in order for himself to feel better.
I think absolutely right. Yes, I do think that indeed. Yeah. They're all saying to you, Kareem, yes, mate, love you, says Stu, love you, man. Shout out, please, Dinky-Doo, Scottie La. Not even my granddad uses TikTok. Wow, officially. Well, Scottie McClue certainly does. All right, Scottie McClue. Sippy here. Loved it. And there we are. There's Geodog on in South Africa. Isn't that beautiful? And there's Ronnie Shaw saying, is that the Black Watch tartan, Scottie? A wee bit red thread and you'd have a Shaw tartan. So, now what are we doing about this disrespectful man?
Well, I'm not going to mention him really again because I'm not going to lower myself to his standards.
Good.
At the end of the day, if he wants to come on and moan about other people, it just shows himself up what kind of lifestyle that he has.
If you and I were in the gutter, he'd be looking up at us.
Well, yes. So,
do you like that one?
Yeah. So I just feel that at the end of the day, everyone phones and contributes to whatever. We said before, people phone in and talk about lights, they've talked about dints, they've talked about boats, they've talked about cars. I try to talk about a variety.
We've talked about everything. We've talked about the COP, we've talked about the monarchy, we've talked about politics, we've talked about everything on here, and we will continue so to do.
Correct, Scottie. I just worry for his mental health. I really do believe he has some form of mental health.
Well, I think he wanted to talk last night, and of course there just genuinely wasn't the time. Although I must say I had some empathy with should we limit the calls to 5 minutes, unless, like yourself, it's an outstanding call.
No, thank you, Scottie. But it's your show, Scottie, at the end of the day. But personally speaking, if you've got someone on, regardless who it is, it's putting across really good points,
yes,
a really good conversation,
yes,
then there shouldn't be a time limit. If you get a wee bandpot phoning up and just asking silly things, being silly, then naturally you're going to cut the call.
Well, the wee bandpot you're going to get, because the wee bandpot is just somebody that hasn't got the ability to hold a conversation and would love to, but they want to be part of the show, but they think saying a naughty word might make them part of the show. And of course, they don't realize it's just going to end in a lifetime ban. Their number will get blocked and they've had their day.
Yeah. And then you get your callers, Scottie, that are too afraid to say something and they hang up.
Yes, well, that's right. They come on and they get tongue-tied. I mean, there's Ronnie Shaw says Oscar would have loved that comment about the gutter. He's talking about Oscar Wilde. Poor Oscar Wilde was put in jail because he was gay, and he said, if this is the way Queen Victoria treats her prisoners, I'm surprised she's got any. And he went to his mother's house in London, and it's a friend of mine that owns that house to this day.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. Said there's a blue plaque on it.
Yes. Well, Scottie, we mentioned briefly yesterday about down south with the bill being passed through, and today, with mounted pressure, it's now had a U-turn, and that politician has resigned.
I was just thinking it did look dreadful. And, it's a shame that someone's career's gone. But, if there were problems with it, then they're better away clear of it, to be quite honest with you. And, you know, if they were doing what was mooted that they were doing, then, you know, it's a problem. And I think that in public life, you know, this is where you've got to not join public life and then have another side to you that you think, I think I can make a right few quid here, you know?
Yeah. I think that type, shall we say, because they did say there was forms of corruption, that should not be for any of our politicians. Sadly, it does go on. Some of them are very good at covering themselves, and others, it gets exposed. One place that comes to mind that I think you see it all the time is in America, with a lot of the politicians and the mayors and all the other ones within types of councils. They just they greet over there. When
well, I think America, that you see, when you are in a position, you know, and of influence, people do like to get a hold of you, and you know, they like to see if they can use you. You know, I mean, I can remember somebody asking me, would I mind getting my photograph taken with the Prime Minister at the time? And I said, why on earth would the Prime Minister want his photo taken with me? And they said, well, look how well his party are doing in Scotland, you know? That's not the present Prime Minister. This is a long time in the past. And I thought, that's very interesting. You know, now it's where you've got to say, well, I don't think so, really, you know, because not for these purposes.
You're honoured, they've asked you, but no thank you.
Yes, yes, absolutely. You know, and it's like people saying, would you advertise my product? I mean, if you want sales, you get Scottie McClue's voice advertising your product, you know, but then I've got to decide if that's a product I agree with.
Correct, because there could be hidden meaning behind the product.
Well, yes, I think I don't want my name associated with something that's not particularly good for somebody's health.
Correct. Yeah, well, true, Scottie. That's absolutely true. Yeah.
You know, something like that. So you've got to think. I can remember that wonderful teacher I told you about, Kareem, and he said to me, always be careful, son, what you put your name to. You know? Yes. That's the thing. Always be careful what you put your name to. Yeah. And as you know, I've only had one bad man in my life. You know, and that's not bad in a very long career spanning almost 40 years.
Yeah, but Scottie, you know, when that happened to you back then, it changes you, and you find out who you really are. You find out who your close friends are.
You find out who your friends are as well, and you're absolutely amazed sometimes at who your friends are.
Yeah, people that you think that are going to be there for you kind of shy away, back off, and then you see other people, you think, wow, you know, I would have never have thought that. And
yes, and when it comes to something that might be a little bit expensive and you think, I don't know if I can go to that, it's amazing who suddenly turns up and goes, you realize you're going to be my guest.
It's lovely. Yeah,
you know, I mean, these are things, and as I say, sometimes you think your best friends are your best friends, but they're not the ones that come forward. And other people come out the woodwork and they come and speak to you in private.
Yeah.
They say, can I help? Can I help with anything?
Yes.
You think, oh my goodness, look who it is.
Yes, yes.
And I think what happens, Kareem, is you don't know who's got your back.
Well, yeah, true.
You see, I remember, and I've had people's backs and they don't know it. I've seen people that I've thought are worthy, and I've had a word or two behind the scenes, and they to this day don't know it.
Yeah, yeah, but you've done the right thing.
And they've come and told me how they're so chuffed and how well they're getting on, and I say, well, that's good to hear. Because I think, good, that worked okay.
And that's the way it should be. I've spoken to my circle of friends has gotten smaller over the years, but that's through personal choice, Scottie.
Yes.
Because I feel that through my teenage years and when I was in my 20s, and that I think you jump about a lot of people that you just want to have a laugh, but when you really need help or discussion or something happens, they're not there. They're great for going to the pub, they're great for a wee night out, but that tends to be it. And I'm thinking, well, no, I'm now moving to the next stage in my life. I don't want that,
Exactly,
you know?
exactly. And I remember saying to somebody, they said, well, things seem to be coming right for you. And I said, well, it looks like somebody's got my back. And they turned round, it was only the two of us, and they said, Scottie, everybody's got your back.
That's fantastic.
It's a lovely thought, isn't it?
Yes, it's like a guardian angel.
Yes.
Someone looking out after you.
Yes, absolutely. And you see people doing things and you think, that's the kind of person, you know, what have you.
I remember years ago I had a friend and he spoke, and you know my views about religion.
Yes.
And he turned around and he said that I believe in guardian angels. And I said, well, what do you mean? He says, I don't believe guardian angels are beings up in the sky. I believe a guardian angel could be somebody that you don't even know, that you meet momentarily, and they can change your life forever.
And I've actually seen, I won't go into detail, but I've seen karma actually happen 3 times in my life. Wow, and at a very senior level. And I've thought, my goodness me.
Well, I believe that, Scottie, what comes around goes around. Yes. Absolutely.
Yes, and if you put good stuff out there and you look after people, it's amazing who looks after you.
Correct, yeah. And it's so important. I think if you try to wake up every day and do one good wee deed, and if everybody did that, that's making the world that just a little bit better.
And nobody even needs to see it.
No, you don't need to know.
Do you know one of the most humbling things? I remember phoning somebody very, very senior in television and sort of trying not to stammer on the call. And I said to them, I said, you know, I wonder if it would be possible to come and see you at some point. And they said, well, it would have to be tonight. I can't see you today. I can't see you today. And I said, oh, no, of course not. And they said, so it would have to be tonight. So why don't you present yourself around 6 o'clock? Pop in and see me around 6 o'clock. Well, I went in, and do you know the most humbling thing, Kareem? The desk was all cleared. There wasn't a thing. There was no calls. He nodded to his PA. There was no calls or anything. He sat down at the table and said, sit yourself down. He sat down in his own chair, looked across this big desk and said, what can I do for you? OMG, Kareem. What can I do for you? And, you know, it just blows your mind.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, you've made me just remembered something, Scottie. When I started teaching, I done years and years of supply because, you know yourself, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I think that helps you.
I think it actually is. I got told that by a very senior academic when I was a student.
Yeah. And I was teaching in a school down in Ayrshire. I won't name the school.
No, we won't. No.
It was a good school at the time. I don't know what it's like now, but within all the other ones, it was quite a top performing school. And I enjoyed teaching at it. And I wanted mock interview practice. So I went in with the principal teacher, deputy head, and the head teacher, and I absolutely looked like an idiot. I bombed the mock interview. It was a horrible experience. And I think a couple of days later, the deputy, who I've never really met, he came and said, listen, we've all been there. Don't worry about it. We've all been there. Now, the head teacher didn't come see me. I went out his way. The head of the department didn't. This deputy head, and he says, here's my notes that I take and do for interview when I go on interviews, and this gives you an idea of structure and things to talk about. Take this, look at this, and this will help you. And he didn't need to do that. That was just such a gesture of goodwill.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And just on that note, I mean, we have all been there. We have all been there. And I can remember at the end, they said, is there anything you would like to ask us? So I thought I'd better ask something. And they looked a bit taken aback. And I got the feedback I got afterwards was, when they say, is there anything you'd like to ask us, don't, because there's every chance they might not know.
Yeah. But do you know what, Scotty? That's true, because I remember one interview I did ask, and they stumbled to answer the question. So there afterwards, I always say, no, thank you. It's been a very fair and interesting interview. Thank you for your time. Just something along those lines.
Yes, and can I give you another example of the same thing? I had a friend who was an actor. Now, you can't really say there's such a thing as a senior actor, but there are people who get a lot of work in interesting places. Again, very often who you know. And my friend was playing a part in a play. And John Gielgud, right, huge name in British theatre, films the lot, was directing it. And he came up to him at the end of the thing and he said, you know, I've got all the notes on that. He said, you'd be very welcome to them because I remember playing the part.
Fantastic.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
John Gielgud, imagine John Gielgud coming up to you in a production going, you're very welcome to the notes for that because I played it.
It's wee things like this, Scotty, that just makes someone's day. Just, you know, it just really makes, people are hurting, people are finding things hard, and it's these wee things that gets everybody.
And although it's a night of the theatre, Kareem, you're there because they're directing the play and you're in it. And you might have come straight from signing on. You know, that might be your first job for months. You know, but you've got that there. And in the theatre, if you can sew on a button or make a cup of tea, you're every bit as important as the director, the artistic director, the general manager, whatever.
Yeah, no. It's a unit.
Yeah, and in the theatre, nobody ever looks down on anybody else. And Ralph Richardson, I'm dropping names here, but Sir Ralph Richardson, Rafe Richardson, wonderful big fruity voiced actor. And he was saying, somebody said, what would you say is the difference between film acting and in the theatre? And he said, when I'm acting in a film, he said, once, you know, it's wrapped, he said, I'm off the set 5 minutes later, 2 minutes later, whatever it was, I've gone. As soon as we've finished filming, I've gone. He said, in the theatre, you can have the curtain down at 10 o'clock. He said, it can be 11:30 before I'm out the door.
Yeah.
Because he's just having a chat with his colleagues.
There's so much more to it.
Yeah.
Would you say it's more of a humanistic approach?
Well, of course, yes, because everything that happens, somebody makes it happen.
Yes.
You know, there's nothing mechanical about it. It's not like the camera and the lights and all that. They're all just a part of a much bigger picture.
Yeah. Oh, God, that's fantastic.
You know, and working in the theatre is an incredible experience. Yeah. And if you're in a long run of a production, you get to know it so well. There's a speaker in the dressing room and you hear the whole production every night. So you start saying the lines to yourself. So you could, in theory, probably play a number of parts.
Because you get to know it so well.
And a girl said to me one night, when I'm on stage, what I see, Kareem, is I actually, in my mind's eye, see the book highlighted in yellow where I've highlighted it as I'm talking. So when I'm acting on stage, my mind is reading the book in my mind. Right? And this girl said to me one night, she said, you jumped a line. I said, you skipped 3 pages.
Excellent. Yeah. I couldn't do that stuff. I would struggle to remember everything.
Well, you think that until it's your work. You see, you're a teacher now. If somebody said, Kareem, I want you to teach this lesson, and I want you to teach it as per the lesson plan. Now, you've got till tomorrow, and you sat up all night cramming that lesson. And then they came in to see you teach it, and you taught the lesson absolutely as per that plan, and it worked out well. Somebody say, now that's why it worked out, Kareem, because that is an excellent lesson, and it would suit your young people. You know?
Right. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
be honest with the lesson plan, Scottie. I prefer block plans. Because when you look at half the stuff that's planned, you're like, oh my God, the kids can never do this or that, or that's not challenging enough. So I think when, obviously, and there might be within theatre, I don't know, when you get experience and know how to change things, add things. I suppose in the theatre that'd be how you would.
Well, you can add in business. You can't change the script, because the script is the script, but you can add in business. And very good actors. I mean, if you look at all these old theatre actors in Dad's Army, what they were doing there was putting in business. And do you remember, I don't know if you've watched Dad's Army, the original television.
I'm sure I've seen it.
I think you'll have seen it. And a lovely old actor called John Le Mesurier, or John Le Mesurier, used to always go, oh dear, and put his hand like this over his face. What he was doing was looking through his fingers for the red light in the camera.
Right.
And sometimes if actors can't remember lines, they scribble them on their cuff. And that's where you get the phrase, an off-the-cuff remark.
Right, okay. Right. I can remember. That's smart, yes.
Yes, or productions. I mean, I won't give away trade secrets, but actors have sometimes got lines scribbled on walls in a drawing room.
Right, okay.
In a scene, you know?
Remember.
Yeah, just so that they can just remind themselves what's happening. And very often in television, you'll see top actors take a page out their pocket, just look at it, put it back in their pocket, and then go on and say the line.
Wow. That's, see the memory though, that's why I say to a lot of the kids when they're going through exams, you have to find ways to, I call it the memory game. You've got to try and think of ways to try
yes.
remember things. It's an art.
Well, mnemonics are the best thing. I can remember a history exam, and it was the Crimean War, 1856, and I remember going ABIS, Abyss, and that was Alma, Balaclava, Inkerman, and Sebastopol, the 4 battles. So the mnemonics, but let me tell you this lovely story, and then I better let you go. It was 3 top actors on stage. I don't want to name them just in case I get it wrong, but they were absolute top actors. And they were in stage, and then suddenly they stopped, they dried. And the stage manager said, I have said that to you, that I love you. And they all looked at each other. And the stage manager said again, I've said it to you that I love you. And they all looked at each other. The stage manager said it for the 3rd time. And one of the actors said, yes, thank you, dear. We know the line. We just don't know which one of us says it.
Right, okay.
Lovely, lovely stuff. Anyway, I'd better go. There's a million stories I could tell you about the theatre.
That's another time, Scottie. Very interesting.
I loved when I think it was Edward called last week and said, do you know, Scottie, if you wrote a book, you'd die writing it.
So much. But it's interesting, Scottie, because we don't usually talk about the theatre. So that's, yet again, for Matey Boy, here's a different angle, different scope, different call.
Totally different. Kareem, I must dash, and so must you. Lovely talking to you on Dinky-Doo, sir. God bless you. What a fine man. So there we are. Now, Professor Numpty, I've got a sore finger from pressing the redial. I tried to phone to complain. I can't get through. He's complaining that he can't get through. Come on, Scottie, the phones are going daft. No one can get through. You're keeping Kareem and the Glen's on for ages. Bring back the lovable lassie. I hope this is Kareem's 2nd call. I missed the first 5 minutes. Aye, not at all. That's his first one. Dinky-Doo to you, Scottie. Lily, how lovely to hear from you, and a big Dinky-Doo to you. What are we all saying on the TikTok? A shout out, please. Hi, Kareem. Yes, mate. Fantastic. Beachy has sent 100 TikToks to Scottie McClue. Is that not beautiful? Angela says, good evening. Who's in the pictures behind you? That's me. There we are. It's the main man himself. Absolutely. Beachy. In my opinion, 5-minute calls would be too short when you have people calling like Kareem, says Kian. Kian, I think you're right. I think Kareem is an excellent call. You're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
Hi, Scottie. It's David. How are you?
Oh, David, what a joy to hear from you, la. How are you doing?
Well, okay, but there's a bit of a problem here now. I think it's not in 2 hours. Maybe on Monday and Wednesday. Now, again, last night, I just seen Matey Boy complaining. I can right call about that because Glenn was on too much, but I do love Glenn and Kareem. But
yes, I mean, we love these people, but I know what you mean. I was thinking there might be some method in his madness. See how I'm choosing my words there? There might be some method in his madness because a 5-minute call might be good.
That's true. You did say Barton is starting night. I've got a 5-minute call. So Keane was on for nearly about 28 minutes.
Now, there's Ronnie saying, I'm quite enjoying the Kareem Internet phone-in show tonight.
I do as well. I do. I love that. But Scottie, right, it's time for you to up the ante. You keep on 2 hours. Night, maybe one, maybe the Monday, maybe the Tuesday.
Well, I think it's early days yet because we still need to build. You see, what we've done is we're not on Twitch and we're not on LinkedIn, and we weren't actually on Twitter anyway because I don't know that there's that facility available. But, so now we're on YouTube and Facebook, and I would like to steer everybody towards the YouTube channel. Because the YouTube channel, for some reason, people are very slow at subscribing, and that's very foolish.
Well, that's true. You know, I love you, Scottie. I mean, I'm just saying
David, you never need to justify that. I love you. You love me. We all love each other. Nobody's got a problem with that. And I think it's very good that we end up with the kind of phone-in that we want. So I don't mind one bit. I want everybody's feedback. I don't want anybody to think I better not say in case I get banned or something. I mean, you're a very, very fair man. You're a very, very clever man. And you remember, you guys have got an advantage over me. Well, probably many advantages. But you know exactly what this program sounds like. I don't, because I'm in the middle of doing it.
You're doing great, Scottie. I'm still watching you every night. Okay, last week I was decorating. I was still watching while I was decorating my house.
Absolutely. I think the Scottie McClue, I wouldn't get offended if somebody says, I can't be bothered staring at his physog. I wouldn't mind if they put on the YouTube channels. What's that, my dear?
I love your wee face.
I'm a wee face, but I wouldn't mind. I like when I say I know I'm no oil painting, and the women come on and go, "Oh, you're a handsome man."
Scottie, you're my uncle, you know.
Absolutely, but what I want is the very, very best for my viewers and listeners. I always have done. And the reason I used to do the phone-in on Scott FM and on Century in Manchester and Leeds and Newcastle and all that, and Liverpool and London, because I thought the lady in her flat up a high-rise in Manchester or Glasgow deserves as good a program as somebody at the Carnegie Hall in New York.
Right.
You see?
I was listening to your YouTube station last week, way back in the day, and it was amazing. You were speaking to a woman who is a man, and the man was upsetting her. They were hilarious. Bring all that back.
Well, this is it. We want to get that back, but people start doing their nut. The guy's cutting them off. The guy's cutting them off. You shouldn't have. You'd know. They all phone up and they go, "You'd no right to speak to her like that."
Well, you did. In my opinion,
of course I did.
I mean, this is really annoying. We're all annoying. We're scared to say something to people. Oh, they all take offence.
Oh, everybody takes offence. And you see, the problem is we need to dump these people. Say, look, see if you're going to be offended by anything Scottie McClue says, don't watch. Just go away.
That's correct. Yes.
You know, these half-wits that come on here and think you're somebody, you're not even funny and that. I think, why are you watching?
That's correct. I know, Scottie.
You see, because if I didn't like something, I would just scroll past it.
Yeah, Scotty, it's really gone good. I'm just thinking it's time you could do this. You're a powerful man.
Well,
right?
very powerful. I'm a legend in my own lunchtime.
Yeah,
Now,
honestly.
what about this, Davey? Here you go. Here's Kian
Right.
says, in my opinion, 5-minute calls would be too short when you have people calling like Karim.
Yeah. That's true, yeah. So
You
that's
see?
what I'm just trying to see maybe 2 hours, maybe on a Tuesday or a Thursday, and then this.
Well, I think it'll all come right, and I'll tell you for why. Here's the bit you don't know about. I am now in conversation with very powerful people behind the scenes. And what they are saying to me is, I love what you do. You need to be taken to a wider audience. And I say, well, I wouldn't argue with that. You see, now, if one of them comes good, what they're saying is, we will put you on a much wider audience because, you see, I've made a lot of people very, very wealthy over the years, but I haven't made myself wealthy because I've been climbing somebody else's ladder. Now, I don't mind that, although I had a financial setback at one point. I don't mind that because I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this for the laughter.
We know that.
You know,
you're not like that.
If I wanted money, Davey, I would phone up one of the big superstores and say, make me your manager. You know, but I'm not prepared to sell out my soul. You see these chief executives, now they might be on £500,000, but they cannot break wind without being told, you know, we'd rather you did it this way. So they're up early in the morning, they're still there late at night. Their whole day is devoted to sorting out problems for their organization.
I'm looking at back at you, the wee dog again.
The wee dog. Now, I think I told you this story, Davey, but I was in Yorkshire on just coming up to Christmas. And I was walking Lord Reith sitting behind me there, looking at me as if to say,
Lord Reith, I love the name Lord Reith.
Lord Reith after the boy that started the BBC.
Oh, yeah, right, okay.
And I told his daughter that when I met her. I don't think she was too chuffed, mind you. I says, the name Reith is shouted every day in our house. Anyway, I was walking Lord Reith. You just looked at him and he goes, were you thinking a walk? And I was out with him on a moor. And there were sheep on the moor chewing the grass. I looked up and I saw the stars and the moon. It was a crisp winter's evening. It reminded me of the Christmas story. And I said, I could be sitting in a boardroom in London right now. And I thought, but the people in that boardroom are dreaming of doing what I'm doing right now. Do you see? Do you see what I did when we had Matey Boy on last night? I wrote up this. Wait till I show you this, Davey. You'll love this. Hang on a second. There we are, just sorting that. Right. I wrote this very quickly. Can you see a picture at the moment? No.
I can see the picture of your dog again behind you.
No, can you see what I'm holding up?
No, I can't actually. I'm actually looking at you, but I can't see a picture.
Right. Can you see it now?
No, that's strange. I can't see the picture, no.
I'm holding up a piece of paper on which I've written red card.
I can't see it, Scotty.
Right. I've written red card. Wait till I see
it. I've got it now, yes. I've got it, yes.
There we go. And I was going to hold it up and go, red card. I was going to send him off, but time beat us.
Yeah. But you know, Matey Boy's got a problem, right? He said to you, shut your gob.
Shut your gob, he says to me. And then at the end, he called me a DH.
I know. And he said he was at galleries in Glasgow or something. That's a white red card again. I see that, yeah.
Red card to him, Davey. That's what to do with him. Give him the red card.
So is he gone then now?
No. We'll have him back. You see, I let all my prisoners go, Davy, because we can do it all again the next night.
He might phone in tonight and give you all. He might just start again.
Aye, he might start on me again. We'll start on him. There's Coelho saying there's nothing worse than realizing people you invest time in don't give back what you give.
Yeah.
There's wee Mrs. Women sending me TikToks. I say 2 10-minute calls a night, says Beachy.
Yeah. No, but again, is it true, Matey Boy was in that galleys last night? He said he was in that galleys.
Well, we don't know. He's a very, very fine musician. Scotty, did you see my video? Says we Mrs. Women. We didn't, Mrs. Women. You get what you give out. So who have we got here? What football team do you support? We don't bother with any of that nonsense.
No, I don't even like football, Scotty. So
no, we don't bother with any of that rubbish. You know what I mean? What football team do you support? I don't support any of them financially now. You're looking good tonight, Scotty. I like that.
Oh, I'll let you go. Get next call, Scotty.
Davy, because Davy, we don't want people complaining that David's on too long.
I've been on, maybe I don't know, but anyway.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's lovely to hear you, Dinky-Doo.
Scotty, you too, and I love you. Right, next caller, on you go.
Dinky,
love you.
Sarah Lala. There we are. That's Sir Davy, and away he goes. Good evening and welcome, everybody. Lovely to have you with us. And there you should see that. It says host. Good evening and welcome, Dinky-Doo. It says I'll have to put in Dinky-Doo. Oh, hang on a minute. Somebody's ringing. I can't get a minute to myself. You're live on Scotty's Phone In. Who's that?
Hello, son. It's Martin again.
Martin, son. How are you? You Dinky-Doo?
Yes, Dinky-Doo yourself.
Yes, fantastic. Here's all the sevens calling us a big poser. What's he saying, Martin?
Where's your Glen hat again?
McGlen hat?
Yes.
McGlen hat? Oh, McGlen Gary.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we've got it. Wait till I see what I did with that. Hang on a wee minute, son. There it's there, Martin. Do you like the Glengarry?
Yes,
Well, wait now. I'll put it on for you, Martin, just because you've asked so nicely.
Thank you.
Can you see it?
Yes, I can see it.
There she is. There's the Glengarry.
Keep it on to me, buddy.
Our Martin is some laddie, says Beachy.
Yes. So, I have heard about 10 fireworks since I've been in this house today.
All right. Well, I had a couple of bangers for my tea.
Did you? Lovely.
Aye.
Lovely.
Bangers and mash.
I know. Kareem asked, why is everyone complaining? That's why Kareem asked. Kareem messaged me on Facebook.
Yes, he did.
Why is everyone complaining?
Yes. There's Stephen says, Dinky-Doo Scotty from Balloch. Great to see you. Isn't that lovely?
Yes.
From Balloch.
Yes. So, what about family fortunes with Les Dennis?
Family fortunes, yes, we enjoyed that. Professor Numpty says David's no bad. He doesn't call every night, but when he does call, it's a laugh.
Yes.
There's Kareem saying Dinky-Doo.
Yes.
Is this the Kareem and David show, says Ronnie. Ronnie, why don't you phone in and make it the Ronnie Shaw show? We'd like that. I remember you on Scott FM, says Ronnie. We like Matey Boy's calls. I'd prefer Matey Boy for half an hour over Kareem and Glenn.
Look at that last phone call when he called you. Thick mind. I've actually watched that back. It's so funny.
Is it funny? Oh well, as long as it's a good laugh, Martin. We'll see what's what. Anyway, my dear man.
I'll phone you tomorrow.
You'd better tomorrow. Now remember, it's Friday, and we'll not be on till 10 o'clock.
Okay.
But what do you think about changing the time till 9 o'clock on a Friday?
That's fine. 9 o'clock's fine.
So we'll maybe start making it 9, but we'll do tomorrow at 10.
Yes.
All right, Dinky-Doo.
Okay, DINKY-DOO. Love you, Scotty.
Love you lots, DINKY-DOO, la la. There's wee Mrs. Woman saying she'll give you a kiss at Christmas. Random conversation, family fortunes. Absolutely, Ronnie Shaw's been barred from the bakers. There we go. Don't know what he was up to. Ordering McClue's pies. You're live on Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
Hiya, Scotty, how you doing?
Hey, Glenn, how you doing, la?
I listened to Matey Boy last night. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. There's Jack, Union Jack, saying, God save the Queen.
Scotty, he'll be looking at his clock again now, moaning about
He'll be looking at his moaning and whinging, Glenn. I know, absolutely.
Scotty, you made him a big head, didn't you, with that last YouTube video, what you put out?
I think that's it. I think we've played out his call.
He'll be getting orchestra right next one, Scotty.
He'll be that full of it.
Do you think he's a bit eccentric?
There's Murray O'Donnell saying just the two. Of course he's eccentric, for goodness sake.
Scotty, what? Can't he have a civilized
I mean,
conversation?
do bears visit the woods? You know what I'm saying?
Can't he have a civilized conversation with anybody?
Ronnie says if he does phone, he'll no get through.
Scotty, I think he's making his own voodoo doll, really, isn't he?
He's making a voodoo doll for himself.
Definitely. Just be a civilized human being.
Absolutely.
Realise that people are out there for
Yes, absolutely.
It's a matter of opinion, isn't it? What people talk about.
If you give him a penny for his thoughts, you might get some change.
I'm not going to say he's an intelligent guy because I'm going to blow his head on this guy.
Well, no, I think, joking apart, I think he is a very intelligent guy, actually, because nobody can play the pipe organ to that standard and not be quite brilliant.
They can't communicate with people.
No, well, that's the only thing. Yes, absolutely. But you see, playing the pipe organ's a different technique.
He can't go out into the human world and.
No, that's it. He's not. He's no Glenn. Put it that way.
Cheers, Scotty.
Murray says just the two calls tonight. Ronnie says looks like it. Ronnie and Murray. The two. Oh, by the way, Murray, a massive thank you to you. Murray has been incredibly generous. He's become one of Scotty's angels.
You can't dictate to you until you have to run your show, so that.
No, he can't. Although I was thinking, we Mrs. Women says your lines are always engaged. You're a popular guy. We Mrs. Women, I have to say I'm very much humbled by the fact we just launched the internet phone in and everybody calls.
He'll be looking at the clock now thinking, he's here again.
That's it. Ronnie says, thanks for the invitation, Scotty. I'll need to think of a suitable subject. Ronnie, just come on for a blether, and then it'll stop you knocking everybody else.
I'm going to rise above it anyway, Scotty.
Right, Glenn, always rise above it, la.
Definitely, because I'm not going to let
No, you're much bigger than that. Do you remember when we had that Thomas on the YouTube?
Thomas, I do, yeah.
Yes. No, Glenn, you see, because you're an academic and because you're very deep, some people get a wee bit jealous of you.
Like I said, I'm just a civilized human being, Scott.
You're just a proper human being, a thoroughly decent human being.
What more do you need to ask for?
Talking about thoroughly decent human beings, I've got 4,500 likes on the TikTok.
It's waves and strays. It's on conversations, and it's how it goes.
You've got the lot on here, haven't you?
Of course, it's a combination. It's a cosmopolitan of everything.
Bangers and mash, I love it with special gravy, says Ronnie. There you are.
You've got to mix it about. You've got to be spontaneous with it.
I think so, Glenn. I think that's what it's all about. Now, I'm going to dash, and you take great care of your dear self.
If he comes on, no animosity with him whatsoever, and I just wish him all the best.
Oh, you're a kind man, Glenn. You have a deep kindness about you.
Cheers, Scott.
DINKY-DOO, la. Night. Love you lots. Top man. I'll be out in Tenerife, Scotty, in a couple of weeks. I'll be tuned in. Scotty was watching a wee video on YouTube with you and the Nicky Campbell show. So funny. I should be doing more television. National television. You're live on Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
Hello there, Scotty. It's Ronnie.
Ronnie, about time too. Where's all this rubbish about you need to get a subject?
You told me to phone in for a wee bit. So I phoned in for a wee bit.
And what a fabulous call you are. So you should not be knocking from the sidelines. You need to be in there.
Oh, thank you very much indeed, Scotty.
And you're a fantastic call. You're a very articulate man. I don't know why on earth you haven't picked up the phone before.
Well, the reason for that, Scotty, is because I've been thinking back to, our previous conversations when you used to be on Scotty FM.
Correct.
And the various wee chats that we had. And I've been listening to your programs here on the internet, phone in, and listening to your calls and all that. Lots of really interesting input, and lots of things to talk about. So I thought I'd just give everybody else a wee chance to put their wee bit in. Before that,
yes, but we want your input as well. I mean, you're there saying it's just two folk the night. You say pick up the phone.
Oh, well, exactly. Well, that's another one of the reasons I wasn't picking up the phone.
And when people say it's all these dafties on, you say, well, get on and improve it then.
Yes, exactly. But I don't know if I'll be able to improve it.
Of course you will. Here's somebody having a go at you, calling you Ronnie the Rocket.
Somebody that must get me.
What about that? Now there's somebody.
I've been called many worse things than that.
Yeah, but because you're such a good call, somebody's got a wee touch of the green eyes.
Oh, dearie me.
You see?
When he says Ronnie the Rocket, is he meaning Ronnie the Rocket as in when Mr. O'Sullivan, the snooker player, or is he meaning Ronnie the Rocket, the two-bob firework?
Well, I don't know, but I think maybe he knows somebody that knows Catherine Wheel. I think that I think Ronnie sounds lovely, says wee Mrs. Women.
I used to give you me Catherine the Wheel.
And they're saying all the seven says because it's bonfire related. It's bonfire related. They think you're quite a guy. Oh, see what I just did there. Oh! And I think, I'll tell you, Ronnie, you know about the boy that was in court for thinking he was a rocket and the judge let him off.
Nice one, I like that.
Lovely stuff. But listen, I'm so glad you've phoned, and this will be the first of many calls.
I probably will. I will be phoning again, Scotty.
Dinky-Doo, and God bless you, sir.
I've been on for almost 5 minutes.
Oh, we don't want that. You'll have Wolfgang after you.
That wouldn't be the first time.
Kalelio says, I like the Catherine Wheel joke. You've nailed it. Dinky-Doo. Dinky-Doo. See you, la top man. There we are. That's how Ronnie. Now, give him his due. He was having a go, and I says, phone in then, and he did. I think that's lovely. Stephen's having a right good laugh here. Dinky-Doo, Stephen. So it sounds a bit like Hector Brockleback, says Bitchy. Good vibe, Ronnie, says everybody. They're loving you. You're live on Scotty's Phone In. Who's that?
About time and off.
Oh, numpty, where have you been? We've been trying to get you on.
Aye, rubbish. You've not been trying.
Yes, I've tried every trick in the book and you would not ring.
You've been too busy to get me on because your
Never.
phones have been gone daft.
Well, it's your fault. You were in at the start of the phone in setting it up.
I thought it was a good idea to start.
Well, you shouldn't have been knocking it just because it's gone successful beyond your wildest dreams.
But now I can't get through.
You thought nobody would phone. That was what you were hoping. You thought Scotty will soon be cut down to size because nobody's going to call that.
Well, maybe you should extend the show for 2 hours. Scott.
Do you think? Well, I think it's early days. Let's make a success of this first.
Your phones are gone daft because you're keeping calls on too long.
No. Let's. You used to be on. You used to be on half a dozen times a night. We couldn't get you off.
Aye, but listen, you used to cut me off within seconds.
We had to cut you off because you were talking nonsense. You were giving it all the shecht under the sun.
I'll tell you, I've not finished giving you a shecht.
I hope not. Wait till I tell you this, chummy, right? You will absolutely love this. We want everybody on YouTube subscribing.
Well, what's wrong with that?
There we are. There's a lovely one. There's Shuggy saying good evening from Inverkip. Now, Inverkip is one of the world's great places.
And no idea where Inverkip is. It sounds like somewhere in your sleep.
What about this? Michael says, Alex Belfield brought me here. I'm not disappointed.
Well,
I'll tell you, Alex Belfield learnt his trade for Scottie McClue.
Yes, he did, but don't tell him that. He'll go daft.
Oh,
I've even heard him. I love what he does, but I've even heard him using Scottie McClueisms.
So that's
Yeah, he does. He says, let's have a wee bit argy-bargy.
What about the copyright, Scottie?
Well, the only big copyright is on Dinky-Doo and Scottie McClue.
No, I heard him saying tralas.
He can say taralas, yes, we don't mind that. And he can say stick out your tongue and say ta-ta.
And I've heard him saying shove your head up the lavy pan.
Doing the pan. All the seven says 300 million subscribers. They should all come and subscribe to me as well.
Well, here's Scottie.
If you're on to Alex Belfield, you tell him, say Scottie McClue wants all your subscribers to subscribe to his channel as well, just to keep it fair.
Aye. Now listen, Scottie.
Yes.
To keep things fair, like you're saying.
Yes.
I think Matey Boy should be allowed half an hour.
Should we give Matey Boy a bit of a chance?
Aye. Because
he got 3 minutes last night, and I think he'd be apoplectic today.
He should have phoned in at 9:30.
Stephen says, good evening, Scottie, over at Hamilton tonight. Would be great to have an extended show. And there's Stephen says, it always rains in Inverkip, Scottie.
Well, I'll tell you, it never rains when Scottie McClue's on your wireless.
Wee Mrs. Woman is asking if you're on the shandy.
Not tonight, Scottie.
They think you should be they're saying, sin bin him. They're wondering if you're on the shandy.
Here, it's nearly 10 o'clock and my washing machine's still on and it's not spun yet.
You'll need to go and turn it on to spin. I got up the night, I put on a pair of work trousers the other day and I thought, these are needing a wash. So I put them in the wash last thing at night, went to my bed, got up in the night to answer a call of nature and went down and got them all dried.
You've lost me, Scottie. What are you talking about?
My work trousers, I washed them last thing at night and got up in the night to answer a call of nature and put them on the dry.
You put them on the what?
On dryer, the dry.
All right.
So they were ready in the morning.
I thought you said you put them on the guy.
Wee Mrs. Woman thinks you've been at the wee cherry wines. Put them in the guy. I'll put you in the guy. What do you like?
Here's the other guy, Fox time.
All the seven says you're half scooshed.
How does he ken? Maybe he's sitting beside me enjoying a shandy.
There you go. Thursday is the new Friday, says Beachy Beachy.
Is it not time you got shot at me? So
yes, it is. You've just reminded me. We'll say, stick out your tongue and say ta-ta. Ta-ta. There we are. That's him. He's away. Nowhere not. He's fully it, says wee Mrs. Women. There you go. Fantastic. Well, there's an idea. He's thrown down the gauntlet. Somebody has just said, there's the wonderful James Bacon sending me a red rose. Here in Nottingham, we call it the Wesh. There we are. Ope me doke. So there we go. Scottie, hope you've got a great day. Colalio says about Matey Boy. Give him a chance to apologize. If he's not adult enough, then a week's ban. Harsh but fair, Colalio. Should we ban the Matey Boy from the show for a week if he doesn't apologize? There we are. That's what we're asking. Popeye the Sailor says Dinky-Doo. So there we are. So next time you're all listening to Alex Belfield, say, can every single one of your subscribers please subscribe to Scottie McClue as well? There we are. And send him a quid. 300 million of you. That's what it's all about. Dinky-Doo. Now, who else have we got here? Excellent stuff. What? Look at the time. I'm going to have to go. Lovely talking to you guys. I love you to bits. Good night. God bless. Dinky-Doo and Taralas. Join us tomorrow night at 10 o'clock sharp. Woo! There we go. Right. That's our beautiful TikTokers. I'm going to have to dash. I love you lots. Good night. God bless. Dinky-Doo and ta-ra, lads.